it is not just good enough to earn a visit during a national celebration in the Gambia without meeting the president in person. The Prime Minister of Guinea-Bissau, His Excellency Carlos Gomez Jr., did underscore during an interview with journalists the need for Gambian businesses to explore the potentials for investment in Bissau.
Trabalhou bem esses 3 anos de mandato.
I have been just visiting Gambia for the last 3 years, and I realized during this visit that President Jammeh is doing very well in terms of development.
Homem que gosta da Gâmbia e gosta sobretudo da África.
He's a man who likes his country and he likes Africa as well.
So, ontem na tomada de posse, todo o cenário que vimos, desde o tradicional até o oficial, vimos que ele gosta da África.
Really what we have seen yesterday during the inauguration is that we have seen the cultural aspect, and that shows that he likes Africa and he believes on what he is.
Por isso também viemos para desejar-lhe muita sorte para este 4º mandato, continue a desenvolver a Gâmbia e reforçar a cooperação com a Guiné-Bissau.
This is the reason why we are here to witness and also to wish him success in his endeavors.
Some of these delegates were hosted to a state banquet by His Excellency the President at the Kuko Ocean earlier on Thursday. The dinner, also graced by the First Lady Her Excellency Madam Zainab Yahya Jammeh, was organized in honor of the President's inauguration. The night was punctuated by performances from a selection of artists and a final display of fireworks, adding color to the whole spectacle. Abinjai, GRTS.
The Prime Minister of Rwanda also called on the Gambian leader after attending the presidential inauguration. Shortly after his closed-door meeting with Professor Jammeh, PM Pierre-Damien Haburemi told journalists discussion with Professor Jammeh revolved around the need to bolster relations between Kigali and Banjul.
It was very good, and we are very grateful for the hospitality. Started by the hospitality, we enjoyed the hospitality. People is kind here. The country is good. The country is good, and we are very grateful. And the ceremonies the ceremonies went very well, and we appreciate. And really, we like the Gambia people. The country is very good. The country is very nice, and we will submit to Rwanda people that Gambia is a nice country. Which we can share experiences, and we'll come again.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
The Prime Minister there after a meeting with President Jammeh. Meanwhile, the Republic of the Gambia and Jamaica have agreed to establish diplomatic relations at ambassadorial level. A media release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad reveals that development is a manifestation of the two countries' desire to develop and strengthen relations of friendship and mutual cooperation in accordance with the principles of the United Nations Charter and the provisions of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of April 18, 1961. We'll be back with more stories from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. The people of Senegal will go to the polls in February to elect a new president. But barely a week before Senegal's Constitutional Council sits to consider the legality of President Abdoulaye Wade's bid to seek re-election for the 3rd time, the political temperature is shooting to dangerous levels. The Catholic Church there is meanwhile calling for calm ahead of the election. Let's look at this report for more on how things are shaping up in Senegal in the lead up to the race between at least 20 aspirants in this report.
On Thursday by the Secretary of Senegal's Episcopal Conference comes 1 week before the country's Constitutional Council is to decide on the validity of President Abdoulaye Wade's bid to run for another term. Senegal's bishops are calling for the constitution to be respected both in spirit and in letter.
The bishops are calling on citizens to respect the Constitution, especially those whose duty it is to respond or to interpret the law. That, in the end, is what is needed if this country is to be at peace.
Some 20 candidates are vying for the presidency. They've either declared their candidacy themselves or were selected by their parties. The candidates include a number of WAD's former prime ministers, now in the opposition. With the election only weeks away, the political climate here is heavy and ominous. The Senegalese church fears unforeseen events and is calling on the candidates and the population to abide by democratic principles.
This election is important, and the reason the church is implicated is to contribute to peace in this country. That is our only objective, and it deserves the sacrifices that are needed.
In their appeal, which was published Friday in the Dakar Press, Senegal's bishops also state that nothing will get done unless peace is brought to Casamance, Senegal's southern province that has been involved in an armed conflict for the past 3 decades.
Dealers in locally fabricated TV antennas in Congo-Brazzaville are cashing in on the hype generated by the Africa Cup of Nations, which kicks off today in Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. Congo did not qualify for the 16-nation tournament, but football enthusiasts there are hoping to follow the action on television. We have more on the stiff competition between the locally made antennas and those fabricated in China in this report.
Cup competition is about to kick off and fans in Congo's port city Pointe-Noire are ready and waiting. A flourishing television antenna business has taken off. Olga is very satisfied with her TV antenna made in Congo.
There are lots of channels, DRTV, Tele-Congo, Tele-Pointe-Noire, and even some Cameroonian channels.
The young do-it-yourself go-getters in Pointe-Noire who have a flair for business opportunity are turning out antennas at a fast rate. They are made on the streets and sold on the streets.
Business is good. People are buying them up. I repair shoes, but since I know the guys who make these antennas, they hooked me in to sell them.
Salesmen like Yannick install antennas. This house is equipped and now it can receive foreign international television and fans can follow the whole African Nations Cup competition.
How many antennas do you sell in a day?
I can sell 15 or 16 on a good day.
How much does it cost?
€5.
A lot of happy clients are sure they've made a good investment.
The signal is very good, better than my old antenna where there was no signal in the bedroom. The picture was blurred. Now I'm happy I have a new antenna.
These antennas are better and cheaper than Chinese antennas, which is a bit of consolation for the Congolese, whose team was not selected to compete in the CAN competition.
And over now to sports. The female Scorpions of the Gambia will lock horns with their Sierra Leonean counterparts today, Saturday, 21st January at the Independence Stadium. The two teams were at the stadium Friday evening to acquaint themselves with the conditions of the pitch. Our Babkar Senghor caught up with the coaches and sounded their opinion on today's game, and here is the excerpt.
The head coach of the Sierra Leonean female team, and she has been watching the team train, and she will be talking to us about her impression of the training.
Well, my girls are doing well. We have come here, because we understand that this is the pitch that we are going to play, yes. So we try to come and get the feel of the field.
What is the expectation for your team?
Well, everyone is expecting good, even both sides. But I mean, we are praying for the better.
You're going to play against the Gambian female team. Have you been doing any spine missions on the team to know exactly the side that you will be facing?
Well, we don't know much about them, but we are trying our best as far as we're concerned.
How long has this team been training together?
Well, first of all, I went around to the schools because